Hey, good evening. This is Barb Pass, going to paint for you tonight. Got a thunderstorm going on, so you may hear that, but it's kind of a nice sound, long as it doesn't put our electric out. I'm going to paint from a photo that I took in Wisconsin when we were there a few weeks ago, up in Amish country. Let me swing you around and show you. I've got my iPad sitting here. I love the image. I love the light on the barn, and they have the laundry hanging out, which I think makes it very charming. Some of these elements I'm going to leave out, like I'm not even sure what we're looking at here. I think it might be a wagon. It's a little confusing, I think. I think it's two buildings, maybe one behind the other. I do like this little building. Not sure what this big dark thing is, so we're going to paint what we see, you know. Again, I believe it's probably one building in front of another. Could even be a barn in front of a house. I suspect that's probably what it is. That almost looks like a semi-truck. So you got to pick and choose, you know, what you want to include. Again, I love the light on the roof. I love how the light is hitting the laundry. We're going to paint it on an 8x10 stretch canvas, which is a little bit trickier to paint on because I know it's going to move around on us some. And I can't really tape it to the panel because it doesn't hold it up there very well. So we'll do the best we can. Hopefully you'll be able to see okay. I'm going to sketch it with a pencil, which you don't see me do that too often. Usually I just thin down paint, and I could do that. Really no reason I'm not. So, all right, we'll just want to welcome my new subscribers. I've got some new subscribers, and I'm so thrilled to have you. I am painting in water mixable oils. Which I always say that, they're just oils. Yeah, I believe, like I said, this is maybe the house behind the barn. Doesn't really matter though, does it? Okay, let me think about, right now, this roof line almost lines up with this one. So I think we'll extend it past a little bit. Want to watch for tangents, things like that, that line up awkwardly. And this is a cute little building here. And right now, let me swing you back around and show you one of the things I don't like about it. It's got like a little dormer on it. Really cute little building here, see? This is a problem. See how this line's right up with the edge of that? So that's something we've got to adjust to. And this is my time to do it. And again, we're leaving out that little wagon thing in the front, so. All right. So again, I don't want to take that roof line right off of there, so maybe we'll go below it a little bit. Yeah, cute building, little dormer on it, and well, it looks like a little smokestack. Like I said, this is an Amish farm, I think, and so I'm not quite sure what this little building would have been used for. side of it's facing us. And the hillside kind of runs up that way. And then I ran that on back there, so we'll bring that right there. Got some kind of a little chimney coming off of this guy. This is all trees back in here, lights and darks, and all beautiful bright green in the front. So we'll try to get some lines going on to make it more interesting. There's a fence line across here. That'll help. Okay, this little building has to come down. We don't want it to line up right with the bottom of this one. So I'm making it a little taller than it is. Doesn't really matter. There's some of that thunder. And then what I find very exciting is this line of clothes going off of here. Okay, so if that's coming off, looks like it's coming off the barn, and you know, we'll do different shape. I guess they've maybe tied it into the tree, so then this tree line here has to come down. And I can't see the front of that, but we could put a door on that. So again, I think what's happening is this is the house behind the barn. There's a little bit of road showing in this corner. I doubt we'll put it in. Now, one thing you can do at this point before you go further is to take a T-square and check some of these angles if you want. You can do that as you paint. I mean, sometimes I have a tendency, my husband has a real good eye for it, and sometimes I'll get home with something and he'll catch it right away. My angle will be off on something, you know. So we'll check some of these. Doesn't mean I won't shift them as I paint. And a lot of times with old barns, as you've seen, I'm sure sometimes the roofs swag down, which I think can be interesting. You know, we'll make sure this laundry is glowing, and there's a little bit of shadow here and there on this roof. And again, we'll have to make this foreground interesting. There's a lot of, looks like little white blooms all down in here. Weeds, some kind of weeds. All right, let's get going on that. And I think I'm going to, which I've done this in some of my past videos, I've mixed up what I called a mud. I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to make, I'm mixing up a green, ultramarine blue, cad yellow medium, just a green. And I'm going to put some red into this. So I've created a muddy, a grayed green. And we're going to my plan is to stick a little bit of that into everything we put on here. All right, let's go. And a lot of times I tone my canvas. When I do, I typically tone it an orange color, and that can be really attractive to have that peeking throughout. We could even just, you know, tone the foreground even because of all that green. I'm going to have to pick this up some probably. I'm used to having it attached to the board. But we're just going to put some of this orange in the foreground just to get some color down here where there's all this green. And it's getting to be the time of year where we're starting to see orange in our trees. So I'll probably put some of that up in the trees too. Okay, let's just start out and we'll mass in this whole background, which is a very dark green. And I'm going to mix up ultramarine blue and Indian yellow, which is a transparent green. And we'll put in some of that green we made too, because that's going into every mixture. And I'm going to put just a touch of water in it, because they're waterable mixable oils, to thin it down. Now I know I've got this drawing on here, but I'm going to go right through it because it doesn't make any difference. We'll just put it back in. And this is a stretch canvas, so it's going to be a little harder to cover than like a board. So bear with me. I need to gesso some boards right now, otherwise I'd be working on a board. A board works much better because I can tape it to this panel, and again, I've got a stack of them sitting here. I just got to take time to gesso them. And we can shift this mixture around as we go across even, and put a little crimson in there. See how I have to kind of scrub it in with these stretch canvases. My preference is the boards. That's what I like to paint on. I just keep mixing up more as I go across. And it's not a bad idea to do that, because sometimes you get variations in your colors, and that can be good, instead of mixing up one big pile and working out of it. So I'm going to try to, go around the sketch that I've made, and without keeping things too tight. I'd rather overlap, and I don't want to feel like I'm painting a coloring book image, and painting in the lines. Even though I am somewhat, because I've sketched it in. Painted outside today. Starting to get some fall colors here in Ohio, and it actually was pretty when we started. I got there about 9, and the sun was out. I did an 8x10 and finished that, and then I did a little 5x7 and finished both of those by lunch and left then. It actually was getting a little cooler. I typically tend to be faster than most of the people I paint with, not on purpose. I just am. And a lot of them typically paint till 2 or 2:30, and then they have critique. But I'm done. I think I told one gal maybe I should either come later or paint larger. Try to make sure I keep you on camera here. I love this 8x10 size, so you see I use that a lot because it's just a nice size. It's when you frame it, it looks nice. You can frame it in a really large frame. It's it's not small and it's not large. I think it's just a real good size. Give just a touch of water again. I just find the stretch canvas is a little more challenging to work with again, because you got to kind of push the paint in them. All right, looks like it's lighter back in here. This is really pretty bright green, yellow color, all in the foreground. But I think we'll go ahead and, while we have it here, throw some kind of stripes of this darker green down in the foreground. Let me see if I get it up here. Is that any better? I got this little board we can put under it. Let's do that. That's pretty good, isn't it? We'll get you up a little higher here. Okay. When you're painting outside and you're dealing with light and shadows, for me anyway, I try to nail down one or the other. And you got to try hard not to chase it. We all have done that. But I mean, if say the front of this was in bright light and you had, you know, specific shadows that you liked, you could go after either one, in my opinion, light or shadow, and nail it down. Again, it looks like the light's kind of coming through the trees here. Again, this is all dark, and the light, there's light on this part of the roof and this part of the roof, and the laundry's catching light. And there's light, some bright lights up in the trees here, and the whole foreground looks pretty lit. So it seems to me it'd probably be coming through the tree line maybe that way. So let's go ahead and lay in maybe some of these brighter lights that we see. So we're going to take white. Usually to do that I tend to take a little tiny bit of yellow and white when I'm working on white. But in this case, we're going to throw in our little bit of our green too, because it's going in, again, it's going into all my mixtures. And I did clean out my brush. And it doesn't mean I won't come back and be doing stuff again just because you see me doing it once. We got to get it right, so we'll do what we have to do. I've said this over and over, but it's hard sometimes to judge color and value till the whole canvas is covered anyway. And sometimes you just can't be sure if something's working till you've got it, till you got it covered. So we'll adjust it like we have to. You know, this may, right now it looks a little dark to me, but we'll see. It's all relationships. Hope all of your family is well. So far we're all doing okay. You know, here come the holidays. How do we handle that, right? You want to be with your loved ones, but yet you don't want anybody to get sick. And I'm not going to worry about the laundry yet, and we may even like wipe that out when we get to that point. Okay, let's mix up the red on the building now. I'll take some alizarin crimson. I work with a limited palette, a warm and cool of blue, yellow, and red, and white, and then I have transparent red oxide and Indian yellow on here too. So those are the two reds I have to work with. So I have some, again, I have alizarin crimson, and I'm adding some transparent red oxide to that mixture. Let's take a look at that and see what that looks like. Yeah, I think it's still raining out there. We've been needing rain. This is a fairly large brush for what I'm doing. I tend to stay large as long as I can. Keeps you looser. Now, we have to decide, even though this light, it's lit from above, so this doesn't necessarily look any lighter than this. You know, there's not one side of the barn that looks lighter than the other to me. It's because the light's coming from above. But sometimes you just have to explain things. You're the artist and you have to explain things. So I'm going to make this side darker. You know, people have to understand what they're looking at, so. I'm missing my board, I can tell you that. These stretch canvases are hard to work with. So again, I'm using my red and some transparent red oxide. I'm putting a little ultramarine in this, and of course a little bit of our green. Got quite a bit darker there, that's okay. And we'll do the same thing on this little shed building. We'll make this side darker. Trying to lighten up the front a little bit, so I actually just threw a little bit of that orange in there. And this part of the roof, I mean, it's obviously the same color in reality as the top, but of course some of it's lit, so, and it looks a lot cooler. So into that white mixture we'll throw a little blue, the mixture that we made for the light part. And I'm going to kill it a little bit with a little transparent red oxide. Throw a little bit more of our green in there. We'll see what that looks like. It's all trial and error, you know. And it doesn't matter if we, I mean, this is not a commission, so. Put a touch of water again. I'm trying to get this stuff to move. Sometimes it makes it too thin too, and then you got to come back and put a second coat for better coverage. That little dormer, which has to be darker, so we'll come back and get it. And we missed the edge of this back here, the side of the barn. And the top of this roof, the shadowed part, I don't know that I want it quite as dark as this part, so, because it would be getting more light. It's kind of got dappled light across it. Trying to explain that that's a little dormer there. This could even be some place that the mother-in-law lives or something, I guess, couldn't it? I don't know about Amish. We've toured Mennonite farms where I know they take care of their older people. They all live typically on the same farm, in the same house, maybe in different parts of the house, and kind of nice. We don't tend to do that too much, but it's a nice thing, isn't it? There's like a big window on there. probably have to get a little brush out and help us explain some of this better when we get further along. There's the two windows there. Looks like maybe part of a window there. I can't tell at all what is in the front of here, but if it's a barn, we'll just do that. All right, let's just move on. I think what we'll do is we'll introduce some lighter greens up in that, up in here. Getting some glare, it's kind of hard to see. And we're going to take, even though I don't necessarily see it, I'm going to throw some orange up in here too. Getting some glare, got it tipped away from me. And we might take a palette knife and do some stuff with that later too. Throw in some foliage and feeling like some of these shadows need to be a little darker. And as I mentioned, there's a little chimney up here. Not so sure that wouldn't look better, you know, red. I like red brick chimneys, but we'll see. I don't see it that way. It's very, very light. It's actually kind of an unusual kind of deal anyway, isn't it? What we've got going here. I'm mixing up something lighter for the foreground. Keep it scruffy looking. These are Rosemary and Company brushes. I'm wearing them out. I'll have to order some new ones soon, I think, but I really enjoy them. These are the Evergreen, which are a soft brush, but they're getting to be quite the mess. I don't know if you can read that or not. I've used their Ivory series too, which are stiffer. I like those too, but I'm going to order some more soon. I'll probably order the Evergreen again. Kind of working my way down toward the foreground, as you can see. So we'll kind of change up the greens a little bit as we go. Let's put a little bit of water in that. We may find we have to go over a lot of this again. You know, to get it to cover, I'm thinning it, and then it may be too thin. If you watched me paint before, you may have seen me use, I have this flexible, it's like a big palette knife. We may use that down in here too. That might work real well. Get our rubber knife out. I need to show it to you now, even if I don't use it, don't I? So you can see what I'm talking about. So we're to the point where everything is covered. I like this part. Okay, wait just a sec. I'll get that knife out for you. I have two of them in here, and I actually have three. I have a very large one. It's a Catalyst by Princeton. I've showed it before. This is the one I like the most. It's like a rubber palette knife. And then I've got this size. This one's a little bit, I don't use this as much. And then I've got a great big one, which I've used for very large paintings. It's a fun tool to use. I like it a lot. You can you know, get in here and blend with it. You can put it on its edge and cut into your painting and create, you know, texture. You know, cover a lot of area with it. Anyway, I don't know if we'll actually use it. I wanted to show it to you. I go through the paper towels. I'm a Viva girl. I like Viva. I think we'll get a smaller brush out and add some details to some of these buildings and stuff. Okay, let's see what we got going here. Not in love with that line. I think it needs to come back in a little bit. Okay. There's a little pipe sticking out of the top of here. Which I kind of like. Yeah, I'm not sure about the white pipe here. You know, it might be better if it were brick colored, I don't know. Just going around trying to explain things a little bit better. Like I said, I can't really see what's going on in the front of this building because there seems to be a, I don't know what it is even. Like a wagon there, tractor, I don't know what it is. I want to make sure that little building is separated from the barn. I'm getting a little darker with it. Make sure you see it. Now, you know, you could come in here with some tree trunks. I don't think I see them, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's your painting, whatever you want to do. So let's score in where this clothesline goes. I have a nice pointy stick that I like to use for that I can't find. So, okay, it looks like to me this just goes into the trees and it comes out of the edge of the barn. So they probably, I guess they've like tied it to a tree trunk, I guess. So we'll just kind of score into this like that, okay? occasionally, hey, I got one. I was going to say occasionally I have a few Q-tips here, and I've got one. So let's wipe some of this out. You know, if we're going to have nice bright laundry on the line. And all of it's not catching light, just some of it. There's an area in Ohio called Holmes County, Ohio, and we've been up there, and seems like Monday is laundry day. Seems like every Amish farm you go by on Monday, they've got their laundry hanging out. It's so sweet. Yeah, some of these are darker and some are lighter. You know, and you could do whatever you wanted here. I mean, if you felt like they should be red, or I see blue, mostly white, but again, it's your world, so. So I think what we'll do is paint in the brightest ones first. So white, a little bit of yellow, a little touch of our green. We'll see how that reads. I'm looking at this roof again too. This is the same mixture I used on the roof to make sure that looks like it's catching light. All right, let's see here. Now we're going to get darker. And actually, it's like 1/2 of this, whatever it is in the light, and 1/2 is not. Looks like a lot of them are towels, maybe. Again, doesn't matter. Making that one a little warmer just to change them up. Another wire coming out of there too. I have seen them do kind of pulley systems too, where they can pull the laundry in and out to themselves too. That could even be what we're seeing here. I wonder, you know. could put little red stripes on the laundry or whatever you wanted. I mean, if it's an Amish farm, don't know, would they do that? Taking a palette knife and going a little heavier on some of these. Having some fun with the oils. That's a nice thing about them. I love the texture you can add with them. Throw a few reds in there. Why not, right? All right, trying to get back from it. I've been pretty close to it the whole time. See where I think it needs adjusted. I feel like we're seeing too much of this. And pull that back. Maybe the roof needs to come out more. Down in here, or I'm trying to think about how to handle that, is a variety of wildflowers. think we'll make a purple out of crimson and ultramarine blue. Throw a little dab of our green in there, or mud. See how our palette knife does there. Let's get some of that in there. We're just going to take green and red basically, and I'm going to put some of these pins post in here as I see them. Can't really see any wires, but we're gonna put some. Oops. Looking for this brush that I bought to show you. Gosh, who knows where it is here, but it's supposed to make good tree trunks. I haven't used it much. I'm looking for it. Hang in there a minute. I think I carry too many brushes. It could be, huh? Gosh, I can't find it. It's, oh, here it is. It's one that, I'm trying to think who it was recommended. It's by Evergreen, and it's called a sword. And, trying to think who it is that uses it. And he recommends it for like tree trunks because you don't have much control with it. So we'll mix up something dark here. I thought maybe we'd just see. But he likes it because he feels like you can't get real picky and you can't control it real well. Let me think of who it is. Charlie Hunter. He's a very good, he was, I think, an illustrator, so very, very good drawing skills, but he uses one of these and recommends it. Because as you can see, you don't have a lot of control with it, and he likes that about it. He probably could have used it for these, I guess, but I know he uses it for tree trunks. And again, I don't really see any tree trunks in there, but you know, they would be there. And I'm going to come back now that I put those in and go over some of these areas, because even if, you know, you wouldn't see the whole thing, so we'll cover up some of them. Some lighter color in the front of that. You know, you could play with this a long time, put scruffy stuff and trees, and just depends on what you want. If you got strong light coming, you want to think about the fact that you might actually have a shadow under this fence. You know. How do I feel about it? You know, I didn't want it to look too modern and perfect, the little windows and stuff, so. Maybe the laundry looks dinky. I don't know. You know, I kind of feel like it could be bigger. Some of the pieces, you know, if they were sheets. Well, it would depend on what they were, huh? Maybe they're towels. Kind of zooming in, looking around to see if there's any of this. Yeah, I don't even know what that is. Like I said, it looks like a wagon. I'll show you again. Spin you around. See, I don't know what that is. Might be a wagon, right, for hay bales. And there's something back here. See the double line? So I did suggest that. It might be one of those pulley systems where they pull the laundry around. And again, what is that? And that actually looks like the back of a semi to me. Which it doesn't add anything to it, in my opinion. It's just an absolute perfect square. So, you know, again, it's my painting, my world. So, whatever I think adds to it or takes away from it. I do feel like some of the laundry, I don't know, I just feel like some of it could be bigger. And I'm looking at it feeling like I could have more variation in the greens too. I'm using this, actually I'm just using this green muddy mixture that I made now. Just to throw some more color in it. How long we've been at this? An hour and 10 minutes. Let's just, I know I keep going back and doing this. I'm just trying to get more light in here. That's what it is, just the layering process. Leave me a comment if you would. I love your comments, and if you haven't, and you just found me and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. When I keep saying this, but when I get up to 500, I'm going to give away a painting again. I gave one away a while back. So if you made your way over from TikTok, I appreciate that. And I've been on there too, trying to promote myself. When you get up to 1,000 subscribers, followers, they call them there, I can go live on there. So I probably will do that at some point and paint live over there. All right, what do we think? What do we think? I keep kicking this up. Just to one last thing here. I'm going to throw a few oranges in here. And you know, I tone with it down here, but we're not seeing much of it now, are we? All right, I think we're going to quit. I may, I'm looking at this laundry, I may come in and do some little adjustments to it with some darker green, you know, separate some pieces and stuff. I'm not sure. I don't want it to be, you know, perfect, but I want it to feel like towels. And All right, I'll get up and show you what I've done. I'm sure I'll see things as soon as I leave. You can find me on Facebook, Barbara Pask Fine Art, and that way if I play around with it and post the finished painting, you can see what I did to it that way too. I'm studying it here. All right, let me get up and show you. Dug out every brush I own. I got a big old mess here. All right, there it is. Tried to get that nice bright green in the foreground and some of it in the trees, and then the dappled light on the roof. I liked that, and I liked the laundry. So I do feel like the laundry glows, as does the roof. Here's our, let me crank you down a little bit. It's a little out of focus for you. See, there's our scene. All right, thank you for joining me. Been an hour and 15 minutes. I got a lot of other videos on here if you enjoyed this. Check those out too. I paint everything. Little, landscapes, still lifes, and plein air a little bit too, and love it all. Thanks for taking time and joining me, and like, subscribe, and hit that little bell, and then they'll notify you when I put a new painting on. All right. Greens and reds are great together, aren't they? It's happy. All right, thank you again. Join me next time. Good night.